Okay, so have you heard about Red One, this holiday movie,
Yeah, I think so.
starring The Rock and Captain America?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, and everyone has articles and notes about it, but like, what does it all actually mean?
Right. Is it worth our time?
Exactly. Is this really just another holiday movie, or is it something completely different?
I'm very curious.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to find out on this deep dive. We're going
Yeah.
to break it all down and figure out if this thing is worth our time.
Definitely. Yeah, let's unpack it.
All right, so let's start by just unwrapping like the basic premise of this movie.
Sure. So, on the surface, it's a holiday-themed action comedy,
Okay.
global adventure.
Oh, wow.
That kind of high-stakes save the world vibe.
Yeah.
But I think what's really interesting about this is that Red One really feels like it's deliberately turning the traditional holiday movie formula on its head.
Hmm. So instead of, those heartwarming family gatherings around the fireplace,
Right.
we might have The Rock fighting bad guys
Yeah.
alongside Santa Claus.
Right.
Oh, and speaking of Santa,
Yes.
can we talk about this casting
Oh, yeah.
for a second?
Please.
Dwayne Johnson,
Yeah.
Chris Evans,
Okay.
Lucy Liu,
Wow.
and J.K. Simmons as Santa.
You're kidding.
I know this is not your typical Hallmark movie lineup.
Absolutely not. Like, this is so fascinating because it's like they're handpicking actors known for very specific genres
Right.
and then just dropping them into this holiday setting.
Yeah.
So The Rock obviously brings the action hero element.
Uh-huh.
Chris Evans has that, Captain America charm.
Sure.
And Lucy Liu always brings a certain intensity to
Yes.
her roles.
It's the J.K. Simmons as Santa that really has me like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't even know what to expect.
I know.
He usually plays these serious, sometimes even gruff characters.
Right.
So I'm picturing like a Santa who's like maybe a little more battle-hardened
Yeah.
than we're used to.
For sure.
Like kind of like a bad Santa.
Totally. It's not just stunt casting.
Right.
It feels like they're really playing with our expectations of who Santa Claus is.
Yeah.
So instead of jolly and whimsical,
Yeah.
we might get a Santa who's a bit more world-weary.
Right.
Maybe even a little jaded.
Hmm.
Now that's a Santa I would watch fight alongside The Rock.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
That would be amazing.
That'd be epic.
Okay, but hold on a second.
Yeah.
I know the sources are really playing up this whole like new genre angle,
Mhm.
calling it like holiday action.
Right.
But isn't like every action movie that just happens to be set during Christmas
Yeah.
still just an action movie?
Right.
Like what makes Red One really, truly different?
That's a really great question.
Yeah.
And I think one that we should definitely dive into.
Okay.
Because a lot of action films use the holidays as just like a backdrop.
Right.
But Red One seems to be really weaving these festive elements directly into the narrative.
Oh, so the holiday isn't just like a setting.
Right.
It's like integral to the plot.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah.
And think about the potential for really subverting those classic tropes.
Okay.
So instead of heartwarming family reunions,
Yeah.
we might get family feuds that are fueled by saving the world
Okay.
from some holiday-themed threat.
I like where this is going.
Instead of carols,
Yeah.
we might get explosions set to jingle bells,
Wow.
So it's playing with the familiar, but then adding in this really high-octane action element.
And this is where Amazon strategy comes into play.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Imagine if families ditch Home Alone
Yeah.
and are streaming this
Yeah.
every December.
I know.
That's the gamble that Amazon is making.
Yeah.
They're trying to create a new tradition.
Right.
Not just a hit film.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It's
Yeah.
a huge risk.
For sure.
But the potential payoff is massive.
Yeah.
If Red One becomes a holiday staple,
Uh-huh.
it could be a total game changer for Amazon's streaming platform.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a big deal for them.
Yeah. And it's a big deal for us as viewers.
Right, because it could be a really fun movie.
Exactly. And that's what we really care about.
Of course, who doesn't love a good action comedy?
Especially during the holidays.
Especially during the holidays.
It's not just about the streaming numbers though, right?
Right. It's they're hoping that this becomes a cultural phenomenon.
Okay, so people are quoting it.
Yes, exactly.
The scenes become memes.
Uh-huh.
People are wearing the costumes for Halloween.
Exactly. That kind of cultural impact.
Yeah.
It's what studios dream of.
So you're saying Red One could be more than just a popcorn flick?
I think so.
It could actually spark a conversation
Yeah.
about how we view holiday movies?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it might make us question those traditional expectations.
Right.
Heartwarming stories, the feel-good moments.
Yeah, Red One could be saying, hey, holiday movies can be exciting and thought-provoking.
Okay.
Why not have explosions and family moments?
You know, that actually reminds me of like another action movie that kind of played with holiday themes.
Oh, yeah.
Die Hard
Oh, yeah.
takes place on Christmas Eve,
Yes.
but it's definitely not your typical holiday movie.
That's a great comparison.
Right.
Yeah, Die Hard became like a total classic.
Yeah.
And it even sparked this whole debate about like whether it truly qualifies as a Christmas movie.
Right.
So maybe Red One will have like a similar impact, where it's challenging those genre boundaries and getting people talking.
Okay, but let's be real for a second.
Okay.
What if this whole like holiday action thing is just a fad?
Right.
What if Red One flops
Yeah.
and like no one else even tries to replicate it?
Well, that's always a possibility.
Yeah.
We've seen plenty of movies that try to start a trend,
Right.
and it just doesn't always catch on.
Yeah.
But I think Red One has a few things working in its favor.
Okay, like what?
Well, for one thing, it has that star power.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans are huge draws. They bring in a massive fan base.
Yeah, you can't deny The Rock's box office appeal.
Exactly.
And then there's like the director Jake Kasdan.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a pretty solid track record,
He does.
especially with like action comedies.
Right. He directed the recent Jumanji movies.
Yes?
Which were both critical and commercial successes.
Yeah.
And those films also had that blend of like action and humor and heart.
Yeah. And don't forget the special effects.
Oh, the special effects were amazing.
This Jumanji movie's had some really impressive visuals.
Exactly. Kasdan knows how to create like those big spectacular moments that audiences love.
Yeah.
And he's also really great at working with ensemble casts,
Uh-huh.
like giving each actor their moment to shine.
So it sounds like he's like the perfect choice to direct Red One.
I think so.
He's got the experience, the vision, and the ability to like balance those big action scenes
Yeah.
with like the comedic and the emotional beats.
Yeah, I agree. And based on his previous work, I think we can safely assume that Red One will be visually stunning.
All right, so we've got a unique premise.
Uh-huh.
An A-list cast.
Yep.
A director with a proven track record.
Mm-hmm.
And a studio that's willing to take a big gamble.
It seems like all of the ingredients for a potential blockbuster are there.
But will it be a critical success?
Right.
Will it spark that cultural conversation we were talking about?
Yeah.
Will it launch like a whole new wave of holiday action movies?
Those are the million-dollar questions, aren't they?
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, our listeners certainly going to have a lot to think about
Right.
after they finish this deep dive.
For sure.
They'll be looking at those articles and notes with a whole new perspective.
Absolutely. And they'll be able to analyze those early reviews and fan reactions
Yeah.
to see if Red One really lives up to the hype.
Speaking of hype, it feels like we've only like scratched the surface of this topic.
Oh, definitely. There's so much more we could explore.
Yeah.
For example, we haven't even touched on the potential cultural impact of like a more diverse Santa Claus.
Right. J.K. Simmons doesn't exactly fit the traditional image of Santa.
Right.
And that could be really significant.
It could spark conversations about representation and inclusivity in holiday movies.
Yeah.
Which is a topic that's been gaining a lot of attention lately.
Okay, so maybe we need to do like a follow-up deep dive.
I think that's a great idea.
Once the movie comes out and we have more information to work with.
Yes. I'm already so curious to see how Red One is received by like critics and audiences.
E2.
No.
But for now, let's wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still so much more to uncover. It's wild to think that this movie is coming from like Amazon Studios.
Oh, yeah.
Like it really shows how these streaming services are kind of changing things in Hollywood.
Yeah, they're becoming these like major players, right?
Right.
Willing to take risks that maybe traditional studios might shy away from.
Yeah, and that's got to be good news for viewers, right?
For sure. I mean,
More diversity of content.
right. More experimentation, more opportunities for something truly original to like break through.
Yeah, like think about it. Would a studio have even greenlit Red One a few years ago?
Probably not, right? It's too unconventional.
Yeah.
It's such a big departure from the typical holiday fare.
Right.
But Amazon is taking that chance.
Yeah, and it's not just them.
Right.
Like look at all the other streaming platforms.
Yeah, they're all competing.
They're all vying for our attention.
Uh-huh.
And they're willing to invest in these like big, bold, creative projects to get it.
It's like a whole new dynamic.
Right.
It's almost like a new golden age of television.
Right.
But it's happening on these streaming platforms.
And Red One is like the perfect example of that, right?
Totally.
It's pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
challenging our expectations of what a holiday movie can be.
So what does this all mean for the future of holiday movies?
Right.
Is this the start of like a new wave?
Well, it's hard to say for sure,
Yeah.
but I think audiences are ready for something different. You know,
Yeah.
something more than just like the usual feel-good fluff.
People want to be entertained.
Yeah.
Of course, but they also want something that like resonates with them.
Wow.
Something that challenges them.
Yeah.
Something that sparks a conversation.
So maybe Red One will be the movie that finally like breaks the mold,
Right.
that shows studios that audiences are ready for something new,
Yeah.
something exciting
Something different.
in their holiday entertainment.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
It would.
Like, imagine a future where holiday movies are just as diverse and innovative as any other genre.
Oh, wow.
We could have Thanksgiving Day thrillers,
Okay.
Halloween horror comedies,
You're right.
Easter Sunday superhero epics.
Now you're getting me way too excited
I know, right?
for the future of holiday cinema.
It's going to be awesome.
But seriously, I think Red One has the potential to be a real game changer.
I agree. It's a bold, ambitious project. And I, for one, am eager to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah. So will it be a fun popcorn flick? Or will it completely revolutionize holiday cinema?
Who knows?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, you, our listener, are part of this experiment now.
That's right.
Let us know what you think.
Yes.
Will a new genre be born? This has been The Deep Dive. And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating.